Hello. I'm trying to do Simon's hello. I should do hello, something like that. Was it good enough? Hello everyone. Surprise. That's not Simon today, but probably you knew it already. So let me see if I can do all the juggling. Now I have Simon as an assistant today, but I should. Oh, hi Simon. Hi everybody. I see a lot of people already writing in the chat. Hi Martha, Judy, Cynthia. Oh, Dave, of course, always the first. Always there, Dave. Few minutes before, ready for the first chat message. Oh, hi everyone. Someone is saying hi, Simon. So today is a special day. I consider it a special date for me, and I hope it will be for you. We have a fantastic guest, and today I will be interviewing her as well. So I'm a little nervous, but also very excited. And hi everyone, people are still coming in. Hello, hi. I know that might be people tuning in from Italy as well. So if you want to just pop in the chat, there's a lot of CGC members there. But like if you are new to this chat, just pop in and say hi. It's very good to see how many people from around the world we are always here. So hi from Portugal. Nice. Oh, today we will have some chat on Portuguese. So as you know, you probably know if you watch the past episodes of the CGC show. Sorry if sometimes I'm getting wrong my words in English. I'm trying my best. I'll try my best. Oh, there we have Silvia from Bologna, that she's writing over there. Thank you for saying hi. She actually played with me in a guitar quintet. She's a fantastic guitarist, and she's there, I believe, with her 2 cats and being with us today. So we will have a fantastic guest. She is an awarded composer, singer, arranger, performer, and I'm really, really excited to have her with us today. And she's Clarice Assad. And I hope you are excited as I am. Morning from Australia. Yes, Australia is always the other way around, on the other side of the day. And it's great to see you all here. And Matt as well. We have some people tuning in from the other hemisphere. And so we'll allow a few more minutes here to see if we can let more people in before we actually call Clarice and we do a little talk with her, and we will share some of the music she wrote for guitar. We will share some of her works, because she's an amazing singer. I don't know if you don't know her. I hope you will get to know a fantastic musician. And let me see if there's more interesting comments coming in. Just hi everyone. Hi from Berlin. Nice. Okay, if you're all ready, let's call her, and let's hope the technology goes well. Hello. Hi Clarice, welcome to the CGC show.
Thank you.
People are excited, and I am more excited, even more excited.
Me too. I want to make sure that I'm recording this. Do you mind?
No, take your time. People are saying hello as well.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's a very nice crowd of classical guitarists, but also classical guitar lovers. And we are hosting different guests every week, and I think it's very beautiful to have to share different experiences and stories, and to bring in people that are involved in the classical guitar world from different perspectives. Mm-hmm. So why don't we start by just introducing yourself a little bit? I already said a few words, but it would be great if you can tell us something about you.
Yeah, of course. My name is Clarice Assad. I am a composer, a pianist, and a singer. And I am the daughter of Sergio Assad. Pretty sure everybody knows who he is in this world. And with that said, I'm also the niece of Odair Assad and Baji Assad. So it's a family of musicians, like 3 generations of nothing but music, which is amazing.
Oh yes, it might be interesting to really grow up in a family that has so much music, and
Yeah, definitely. It's good and it's also scary, you know?
oh yes, I bet. So you were actually exposed to music from the moment you were born, I believe.
Yeah, but because my father, he was constantly either practicing or teaching or just playing or listening to music. That was all he did. He
Oh
never
wow.
stopped. He still does that to this day. It's like always like sitting on the couch playing guitar. And then, when you're young, that's all you're, exposed to. Then something happens in your brain when you're a baby. We just underestimate babies a lot. Like I was totally just like absorbing everything like a sponge, you know?
Oh, absolutely. No, absolutely. I always thought that there might be something very fortunate about being born in a family of musicians, but there might be also a B side of it. The balancing thing happening there.
Yeah.
But you also have written a lot for guitar. Do you play guitar as well, or your main instrument is piano and voice? Right.
Don't play guitar. I was discouraged from playing guitar by my own father.
Okay.
Yes, he really didn't encourage me at all for many reasons. One of them is because there were too many guitars in the family, too many good guitars in the family. And the other reason is I didn't really show any great talent for playing an instrument. I was really good at coming up with ideas and melodies and creating on the spot, like improvisation, but like I was really not so great at like physically holding and playing an instrument. So he figured for me it would be probably best to study the piano, an instrument where you can see everything in front of you instead of figuring out what the fret is like what, and. So then there was that, and then my grandfather, who was a mandolin player and played cello. He's the reason why my father and my uncle are musicians. So he also further discouraged me because he didn't have patience to spend like teaching. Like if you didn't get it like in 5 minutes, he'd be like, "Okay, you're done."
Well,
So
that's an interesting.
It's horrible. Like I'm really kind of afraid of picking up the guitar. Like it became an issue for me. But I can really slowly get my way through the instrument in a way that I can write for.
Yes.
Do it slowly, and even if I suck at it, somebody who can play will be really good.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. That's a very nice approach. But it makes me thinking that many times composers, as a guitarist myself, I worked with a lot of composers in the past, and I still work with a lot of composers. I think is one of the most fun and exciting parts of our job. But I often saw some composers very afraid of writing for guitar. It's like, oh my God, I'm approaching an instrument which I don't understand anything about. And when did you first start writing for guitar? Well, I might understand that might be something you would have done because of the family you're coming from, but that's probably not just straightforward. When you first wrote for guitar?
I'll never forget the first time I wrote for guitar. Of course, it had a little bit to do with my father. And truth is, I was still I was first year college student in Chicago in 1999, 2000, around then. And he received a commission he did not have the time to complete. He was touring, and he just thought, you know what, I'm just going to give this to my daughter, which at the time was like, oh my God. I was excited and nervous about it. And he said, just do your best, do what you can, see if you can do it. And I jumped at it, like the opportunity, you know. So yeah, there was a little bit of like, father encouraged daughter to write this thing. It was a paid commission, so I got really excited about that too at the time. Like, oh my God, I'm making money for music. That's amazing. That's like, I'm happy, I'm delighted. And I wrote this piece called Valsas do Rio then.
Oh, nice.
I
So
was
that was
like,
the first.
yeah, very, very young. It's not something it still gets played, that piece, but it's not something like I absolutely love because I hear it with different ears now, you know, when I go back. But it was my first time writing for the instrument, and it was easy because it was two guitars.
Oh, I see.
So I thought, like, okay, I can have one accompany the other, and that's a lot better than writing for one, right? I mean, starting out.
That's interesting. I never thought about that aspect of it's might be easier to write for two guitars than for one.
Yeah, of course, because the one guitar needs to do everything by itself, and it becomes a lot trickier.
Yeah. What do you think is the trickiest part of writing for guitar from a composer perspective?
I think the fact that it's not clear, like when you look at it, you know, like for example, it's different than like a violin. It has a lot more strings than the string instruments that composers write for, you know, and you were supposed to do a lot more with the guitar. You're not just supposed to play a solo line and some double stops. You're supposed to play entire compositions, and that if you don't know the sound of it in your head, like I knew the sound of it already from when I was a little kid, and just have the patience to kind of get around the instrument. I think that's what it is.
Oh yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, yeah. I think that I received some feedback as well, similar to these from composers. But then you continued writing for guitar, so somehow you got excited about it, or you just naturally continued because you wrote two double concertos, one concerto for guitar and orchestra, and then a lot of other works, solo works, arrangements, quartet. So there's a lot that you wrote for guitar.
It was kind of a snowball effect, you know, like because I wrote these pieces and they were very well received. Like if they hadn't been well received, I probably wouldn't have had another commission that came from that one. You know, at least in my experience, my writing experience, no matter what I'm writing for, like one thing has always led to something else, right? Like you get to know somebody who played your music, maybe somebody hears that and likes it, and then, oh, let's work on a project together. And then, you know, it starts. Because I wrote this, I remember I wrote this piece, and then later, many years later, I received an email from this guy I didn't know in Italy saying, oh, I liked this composition you wrote for piano years ago. I'd like to arrange that for two guitars. If I do that, do you write me a duo piece? It's like a bartering experience, and I'm like, sure. And then it started from there. Yeah.
That's nice. That's nice how things go. But like, I'm so thankful because I personally really love your compositional style. I love what you do and what you write, and being able to have a lot new exciting repertoire for the guitar. It's absolutely fantastic. And for the guitar and flute, because I play with the flutist, so I'm here. I'm getting personal, but that's also. I know that you work directly with the Cavatina duo a lot.
Oh God, yes. Talk about a long time collaboration. That's one of the things, you know, that happened from, you know, one project leading to another. I love working with them. They're such great players.
Oh, that's fantastic. I think it's time to share one of the recordings. We have lined up a few things to share, and because we were talking about composing for classical guitar, and because in a couple of weeks we will host a festival called Guitarfest, and we will have the Duo Noir participating and being our guest teachers and at the festival. We have ready the third movement of Hocus Pocus that you wrote, and they actually recorded in their album. And so I'm really excited to share that with all of you. So you can also all get ready for the Guitarfest. So let's listen to this. There's a little bit of juggling here. Okay, go. This is great. And I saw some amazing comments coming through, like, I'm in heaven. Beautiful, great. No, I think it's a beautiful piece, and I encourage everyone to go and listen there's another video of the second movement instead, recorded at Yale University for a live performance there, and Thomas told me like there's also that one, and yet you will see a guitar played with 2 spoons at some point. So I think you should all go.
I was so thrilled when I got that recording. Poof.
It's beautiful.
That whole CD is amazing. It's like, wow.
I agree. It's a wonderful project, but I think what really impressed me of your music, it's a lot of rhythmical aspect and a lot of the different imaginative worlds your music brings me in. So I'm going to ask you what you feel you are your main influences, because I know you are involved a lot in jazz music as well. You sing as well, and it impressed me a lot when you talk about learning how to sing, but taking also inspiration from other instruments as well. So I wonder what, when you compose, and you compose for guitar, what are your inspirations and your influences?
For writing music in general?
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, it depends on so many things. Like a lot of times, if I'm writing to somebody, like Dua Noir, when I was working with them and talking about what we could possibly do, I didn't tell them I wanted to write anything about magic, but I had heard them before, and something about the way they played gave me the idea to go a certain route, like instinctively. And I really like to tell stories through music. It's different than like film scoring in a way. It's like the opposite. It's like the music is actually the major driving force. You're not supporting a film with your music. It's the opposite. Like you have to use your imagination to see what the music is telling you in a way. Yeah. Does that make sense? So yeah.
Absolutely. It's good, these analogies, these differences from like, where do you start from a story already, or do you go the other way around? And it's really great. And
because when I started, like back in the day, I really loved orchestral music. When I was a child, I loved all the colors that were coming out. I couldn't believe how many colors there were, you know? But there was no way I could have studied anything like that in Brazil at that time, in the 90s. It was really difficult. So I thought my dream was like, oh, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do film scoring. And I went to Berklee School of Music for 1 semester to realize that was not my call. Because I didn't want to write, you know, for pictures. I wanted to write the story in a way, you know, and maybe have people imagine whatever they wanted with their minds.
Oh, that's fascinating. But probably people don't know, and they should know, that you are an amazing singer as well. And I love singers, and I love that part as well. I like singing, but I really admire that, and I think you are an absolute fantastic singer. But what really impressed me is the way you treat the voice, absolutely as an instrument itself, and not just for singing, but you explore a lot of that. Can you talk a little bit about the work you do with your voice? We will listen to something later, but it would be great to get to know that aspect of you as well.
Well, see, what we were talking about before, when I told you I didn't have a lot of chops, right, to play an instrument, really, that was really hard for me. Coordination, things were not, it didn't come easy. So the one thing that I had was my voice. And in order to do anything, to write, transcribe, come up with sounds, I used my voice to do. So it started like a necessity, I guess, you know, like whatever I couldn't really play with my right hand, I would like fake it and start singing along. Then I started hearing these amazing vocalists like Bobby McFerrin. Eventually I heard also Take Six, that group. Everything that would come my way, you know, back then when I was in my formation years, I would absorb like a sponge again, like I said. And the voice was a much easier way for me to get my ideas across. A lot easier than the piano, you know, something I still have to work so hard, sit down and practice. I don't think about like practicing with my voice. I just carry it everywhere I go, you know, something I'm with all the time. I don't need to be worrying about, oh, I'm going to have a piano at the hall for me to warm up. Jesus, that's so stressful, and you can't carry it like a guitar. It's horrible. So, yeah, I think of it as an instrument, I guess.
Yes, but you use also a lot of extended techniques and a lot of percussion aspect as well that I think it's really fascinating. So how did you explore all of these? Because I think what's interesting, it's for me to look at an instrument from multiple angles that sometimes we're not used to do with an instrument like guitar. We play it the same way all the time and we don't explore more of what's there. And I think it's fascinating to see there's more to explore of what we have.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it with the percussive stuff came from my aunt Baji Assad, because she was doing some really wild things with her voice when she started. She'd and I would try to figure out like, what is she doing? Baji was never one to break down what she did. She just did it. So it was my job to figure out like, wait a minute, there are two sounds coming out of her now, like, how is she doing it? And I would try to figure out and imitate. That's pretty much it. Like she would do something with her mouth, like wow. She's like using her mouth and her nose to create two different, sounds. So that's how it started. And then once I went into instrumentation, orchestration, and all of the extended techniques for all the instruments, I decided to try it with my own voice, like techniques for double tonguing and triple tonguing. You do like with the flute. You're talking about and apply that to the voice.
Oh, wow.
It's just a lot of fun. It didn't start out good. It was really ugly in the beginning, but with practice, hopefully you get better.
No, absolutely. That's absolutely fascinating. And I don't know if people know enough of you, but you also wrote a concerto for piano and scat voice and orchestra. That's fascinating. But I think we have another thing to show. I know that you perform at Lincoln Center and you perform some beautiful music of you. And there's this piece called Ad Libitum. And I found a beautiful version of it that you play with your dad and your uncle I think in Paris or in France. Was it there? Like the version of this piece is originally for voice and piano, or the original version, because I saw different versions of it.
Yeah. Well, what happened was that at some point I was practicing my scat singing and all of that painfully, like really practice. And I really don't like to practice, like sit down and do scales, and I would get bored out of my mind. So I started doing crazy things and tried to sing, arpeggios over, let's say, a polyrhythmic riff, And then that's basically how this piece came, because you hear it's an arpeggio. I was just practicing that with my voice. But then I was like, okay, that's boring. And I started doing the polyrhythmic thing. And then before I knew it, I was doing a whole composition on top of that. So originally it was just for myself to practice.
Oh, that's nice. Well, that's a great encouragement. I should tell people, when you get all bored about practicing, just make a piece out of your practice. Just create a piece out of technique. That sounds about right. Well, because we have a lot of guitarists in the audience, I'll show them a little bit of that recording, that live performance in France with two guitars and piano and scat voice. But I encourage you to also look at the performance at Lincoln Center. So let's listen a little bit of it, because I think it's fascinating, impressive. Let's go.
Sur la scène, mon papa Sergio et mon oncle Odair.
There we are back. It was beautiful. I think it's very impressive. Like there's so much going on there. Like the voice is doing amazing things and all rhythmical with the guitars as well. Beautiful.
It's way too fast.
Well, I would say to people, really, if you are practicing getting bored, just do something like that. Easy. That's impressive. But I think you work a lot with rhythm. I've been seeing that you also use different systems to make rhythm easier. I've seen one video of the takerimi system. And can you tell us more about your approach to rhythm, or a little bit more about these fun things that you explore?
See, what happens is that over the years I've been teaching a class on pretty much music, creation. It's an improvisation, spontaneous music creation class, but you're only supposed to use your body and your voice. So it's a lot of percussive moves on your body or vocal. I've been teaching it for 10 years now. And what happened over the course of these 10 years is that every place I went, people were at different levels, musicians and non-musicians alike. I mean, some people read music, some people didn't. So how do you come up to a point where everybody can, be talking in the same language, So notation was out of the question for most of these places where I was working. But I remember meeting a few people back in the day, like they don't exist anymore. It's a group called Wakichi. It's a percussion group. And they invented this really interesting system with geometric figures, where they would get people in the audience or their workshops to perform with them based on the symbols, right? The triangle would be 3, 2 circles would be 2, and so forth. You can keep adding up to that. The only thing that I did is that I took the konakol from the Indian tradition of rhythmic structure, and I applied it. I fused these two things together. So, because they would have the people only clap on when I see you hear like the strong beat. It was a different approach than having the person do it completely by themselves. That's what I put together, and then that way anybody could read those rhythms, because you put like one symbol and say, oh, that's 1, that's 2, 3, and you can come up with all kinds of different sequences. And then for beatboxing, that's perfect, and a lot of young kids are into that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, a lot of people to perform these really complex rhythmic things, just looking at geometric figures, all using either the voice or the body or beatbox techniques, which I would teach them how to do, and they're so smart and fast, they would pick up immediately. So it was a lot of fun. So now I'm trying to build up on that and go even further, but I just don't have the time.
Oh, I bet.
To do that at this point, but it's really a lot of there's a lot of stuff there. It's rich.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, because like writing difficult rhythms and complicated rhythms, it's impossible. Like when I write on the computer on Sibelius, sometimes I say, oh, how do we write these? But then you feel the rhythm. And I think that when you feel the rhythm is really great, and that's what I perceive out of your performances, that you feel the rhythm first. Mm-hmm. And you perform the rhythm, and it's just clear what you're doing. So it's basically 3 symbols, like the triangle. And out of 3 symbols, you do all the rhythms?
Oh, no, not quite. But if you can go up to, like, if you add a triangle would be 3. Like, if you have 2 triangles, that's 6. 2 triangles, that's 6, and then 3 triangles, that's 9. So if you have, this is 1 triangle will be takite, and 2 will be takite,
Oh, I see.
Yeah. And you have 5. Tack again and tack again and tack again and tack again, and you have that in the symbol of either you can put a triangle next to 2 circles, or you can come up with any way to get to 5, or a pentagon.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, and then you can get really complex polyrhythms from there, because that's you're just visually. It's so much easier to see that with geometric figures than than traditional notation for most people anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. That's fascinating. And well, I think we're getting close to the time, and I want to be able to have people like asking you some questions. But I saw that during this weird time, very weird pandemic and period where we were all facing crazy states, like all locked down. But I saw that you've been doing a very fun and interesting project with your dad, together with your dad. I saw a lot of videos coming in of different songs or pieces that and guests also that you called to work with. Can you talk a little bit about this fun project?
Yeah, well, it's, again, I get so carried away with whatever I start. Oh my God, I can't help it. I'm a little obsessive compulsive. So what happened was, like, my dad had this idea, just like, everybody's doing nothing right now, so let's just, play together like everybody else is doing on Facebook. He was into that. So he asked, I think it was David Russell. Can you imagine, like, play something? And what I didn't like were the mosaic, things where you've got people inside of boxes. Made me nervous. But then, thankfully, he had sent me a video that he had no background. Like, I could get him out of it in the Final Cut. So I got obsessed with Final Cut, So then I started editing all of the footage that people got me, and doing all these montages so it would look nicer than, not have everything in a square. It was really crazy. I spent so much time.
Yes, I saw it was a lot of editing, and each one has a different nuance, has a different mood, has a different video going on, different guests. It's a lot of work.
I know. And then eventually, of course, I was like, oh my God, it's September. I can't do that anymore. I got to catch up with work, So we are suspending it for the time being because it was cutting into the time of other things, but it was wonderful to do the videos we've done.
Well, can we show one? I will show the one where you are with Romero Lubambo and Jeff Quay as guests. I think it's really beautiful. So let's listen to this a little bit and go.
Dançar o descompasso, deixe de chorar as dissonâncias do passado. De sua mão vamos dançar, cantiga, moda, som, toada, canção, em qualquer tom, juntos orquestrar uma poesia musical. Então despertar pro tempo das modulações, desafinar desilusões. A nossa música está no ar, cantiga, moda, som, toada, canção. Em qualquer tom, vem cá.
And back again. I'm so sorry to cut that short, but I really want people to be able also to ask you for some question. But did you write the pieces through all quarantine? Those projects.
All the pieces that are in the project were written by my father. I just put lyrics to some of them. Like this one, I wrote the lyrics and I made the video and the sound, made everybody sound good.
And it's amazing video editing. It's a lot. It's really impressive. That was beautiful.
I know the solos by heart because it's like so many times I know every note. Like,
even on the guitar.
Yeah, Homero. And there was one time that Homero was so funny. He dropped something, his glasses, he's playing his solo and his glasses were falling. But he kept playing, I wish I could use that, it'd be so funny. Anyway.
That's great. It's such a cool project. I think it's very impressive. And out of all the things that we saw coming out from quarantine and lockdown, it was really one of the greatest ones, truly. But really, thank you for being here. I think I speak for myself, but also for the community. And it would be great if you can just answer some questions from our audience. If you don't mind, let's see what curiosities they might have. I saw already so many beautiful messages there, they enjoyed the performances so much. There's a lot of bravo and great, and I'm in heaven. So we have an interesting question from Chad that is asking, what makes Brazilian jazz different from other jazz styles, especially concerning the rhythms? We're getting specific.
Brazilian jazz. Well, Brazilian jazz is really it's a certain type of samba, it comes out of samba groove, like this piece that my dad wrote is not Brazilian jazz, that's a bolero, very specific rhythm. Brazilian jazz is characterized by, taking the harmonic language of jazz, which is very sophisticated, kind of marrying that with the syncopated rhythms of samba, canção, and then, stripping away the street vibe of it pretty much, because samba is played on the streets with a lot of percussion instruments, so you're translating that in a different way. But you still get the, complexity of the syncopation, which is different from the syncopation we get in American music. I hope that answers the question.
Oh, yes. Yes, absolutely. Well, he also asked, what instrument would you like to learn that you haven't already played?
All of them. I just bought a drum set.
Nice.
I know it's not so nice, but I hope that by next year I'll be better. I love rhythm, so anything that has to do with that, I'm game.
Yes, absolutely. So then you can do a duet of you with percussions and doing percussions with your voice as well.
Yeah.
Then you do double percussion. That's fantastic. That's great.
Yeah.
No, that's absolutely great. I'm really impressed by that rhythmic approach. It's something I'm really working a lot on the guitar, and I'm trying to get the rhythmic approach from the other instruments, because sometimes I feel like we don't have the right attack for being as rhythmical with the strings. It's not the same as hitting something, but I want to get the same precision with the guitar. So I'm looking a lot at other instruments to understand how to get better the rhythm. So that's really fascinating.
What helped me so much was starting to play percussion. Not to become a percussion player, but just to even keep time, to have to keep my time, because as a piano player I didn't get that training. I could play rubato and stay. I didn't have to keep everybody together. Playing anything like a cajon, it's not so hard because you don't need a lot of technique to play. Like a pandero, you need a lot of technique that will scare you away. But cajon is good. Get a cajon.
Yes. Everyone get a cajon. That's the next thing we will do. We will do at the CGC. I will tell people CGC's Classical Guitar Corner is the academy we have, and it's a lot of guitarists. But now we will do a mandatory cajon course.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I do believe that, and I think it's really, really impressive. And do you have any new work for guitar that you're working on, or are we not allowed to hear this?
No, I
Juicy
do.
news.
I have a few of them, which I'm excited about. There's this duo of guitar and flute of. I think they're from Portugal and Spain. Two ladies. Amalia Tortajada is one of them. She's a flutist, and I'm going to be writing for them something new. It's going to be a fun modular piece. I'm excited about.
That's very nice. Thank you for sharing that. And I'm personally very pleased to know that the guitar and flute repertoire will have some more music added to it. So, we have a person saying that the weather feature in the last video was so nice. And yes, it was bring us in a journey, in a like fall journey with the rain falling all over.
And oh god, anything to get rid of the background, the videos that people were sending me. I mean, really, that was the point.
Yeah, that's impressive. But I think we all know how much work it takes to do that much editing. I read that people were impressed with that editing because, being an online guitar academy, members will have to record a lot of videos all the time, and they did during lockdown some duets from distance, and they all faced the hard work of editing.
And everybody has to get, I already knew how to do a little bit of that, but I never had that much time in my hands. So that was the perfect excuse, because everything got canceled. It was kind of scary at first, and still scary. But when it happened, like when it first hit, it was like, what am I going to do? And I'm okay, I'm going to go edit videos and get good at something. Maybe, who knows, if everything fails in the future, I can edit videos.
Oh no, absolutely. No, but that was really great. And how many of those videos are there? How many you prepared?
I think we've done 5, and I have the footage sitting, like I'm sitting on footage for the finale, which is going to be with the LA Guitar Quartet. That's the grand finale.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and there is another one coming up really soon. But that's going to be it. Then we're finishing it. We plan on putting, pause.
Well,
it was a quarantine. It's coming to an end, hopefully, right?
Yes, we all hope. Yes, finger crossed. And we have an interesting question here. Have you ever written music for children?
Oh, wow, yeah. I'm doing that right now, actually. I'm working on a children's opera.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
It's really fun. And just before you called me, I was recording all of the parts into the program.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's a great project, a children opera. And I think it's... we have people asking for other things, but what's this story about? No, it's not possible to know.
No, it's possible. Yeah, it's happening. It's an American Lyric Theater Commission. I used to. I took some lessons from them, like 2 years at their class as a composer. That was so hard. Like they had you writing every week with a different librettist. So you'd have to write, get criticized, and then rewrite. And then the singers would come and sing your part and give you feedback. 2 years of that, like really intense. And then, so they commissioned this piece for their circuit. It's like Opera Saratoga in conjunction with a group that travels around the country. So it's a pianist and 4 or 5 singers who tour the schools. Yeah, so they're bringing the opera world into the schools, which is, I think, very nice to introduce young minds to different kinds of music they don't usually get, right? On the radio and computers and internet. That's not really a very popular style, so I think it's nice.
Yeah, that's a great project. That's absolutely fun, and I think I think it's worth, and I think it's what children need also. So that's great.
Yeah, I used to like that. I loved it when I was a kid, so I imagined it would go well with them.
No, absolutely, and also yes, in this period where attention is so limited, to have actually that opportunity to sit down and enjoy a whole story with music and I think it's so valuable.
But we're thinking about that too, because the attention span of children today is very different than the attention span of 10 years ago, 15 years ago, right? Everything is so much faster. So we are having them interact with the whole piece. Like they're doing all kinds of sounds and they're part of the story. Like they're doing the wind sounds with their mouths, and like there's a giant, so they're doing the giant footsteps walking around. So they're really basically part of the story. It's like another way of engaging them, not like to sign off and go check their phones.
Oh yes, that's very interesting and smart, and I agree that's what they need. It's absolutely fantastic. So we have somebody asking, how do we hear more of your music? I think you are active everywhere.
Oh, yeah. Well, these days, everything is on YouTube, Spotify, and iTunes. My website has a lot of stuff there too to check out. Like, yeah, I'm not very good about keeping it up though. But there's stuff out there. Like,
yeah.
Definitely.
And you recently started a podcast on voice.
Yeah. Oh my God, exciting. Yes.
I'm
definitely.
updated because I'm one of the first fans of that podcast.
Check that out because, I mean, wow, some incredible singers. I had a first episode with Varijashri Venugopal. She's from India. She's phenomenal. The way she sings jazz is like I've never heard anything like it. Ever. Like she takes all the Indian Carnatic technique and applies it to bebop. It's insane. So yeah, it's really interesting. She kind of the podcast is supposed to be a little educational, so you get I got to ask questions like how do you do that and let people know how they can study that if they feel like it.
That's great. No, that's great. So how's it called?
It's called Voxploration.
Yeah, so that's great. Yes, I'm already up there. I'm waiting for the next episode.
The next is gonna be fun. It's a freestyle guy.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah.
Thank you for the spoiler. I'm ready. So I think the time went by so quickly, and it's already 4 where you are.
Yeah, I know. We can talk. I can talk. Sorry.
Oh, me too. I know I always have to keep it short. I always apologize to the students because I have when we have lessons, I'm always the one 5 minutes late because I get long.
Oh, but you're very captivating. Like you're very open and nice. You're easy to talk to. So they're lucky to have you.
Thank you. But it was truly a pleasure to have you here, and we wish you the best. We're waiting for the next pieces that you write for the guitar. Thank you for enriching the guitar world with amazing music. So
thank you for playing my music.
And
yeah, awesome.
Yes, so I encourage people to check out more of your music and to discover it, and I think this is very important for the classical guitar world. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Nikki.
And bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Wasn't that great? Oh, I'm excited. Thank you for all your kind messages, and also thank you for telling me I did a good job. And yeah, it was pretty scary. I'm always nervous when I do things for the first time, but I think everyone does, and we have to expose to these. But I think it was really interesting, and I know that at the CGC Academy, we will have a month dedicated to female composers. And that wrote for classical guitar. I see Richard Krut is there. And I think today gave a lot of material, more things to think about when we explore new music for classical guitar and new music written by female composers as well. And I'm really happy you were here, and you were here helping me through these hours together. And from Tuesday, Simon will be back, so don't worry. That was the one and only time I was here. Simon, you can say hi. Thank you, Simon, for helping with all the juggling. Did you see how magic was my go? And thank you so much. I think this, to me, was a special episode, but I hope it was special for you as well. And Tuesday, Simon will be here again for a new episode of the CGC show. Have a good day, everyone. Night, morning, wherever you are. Bye.